Greetings, my excellent friends. The Dead Monk welcomes you to Purgatory. And I finally broke down and watched Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Unicorn. I'd avoided this piece of shite for 2 years, but I finally watched it. Now, I'm gonna rant about what a pile of shite this was. You've probably heard all this stuff before, but it's all new to me. I hated Episode 7, Good Morning Force, so much that it was such a fucking piece of shit. But yeah, I completely avoided everything. I didn't watch a trailer for The Last Unicorn. I didn't read any reviews. I didn't watch any reviews. I knew nothing about it. Well, I knew one thing. I did hear at some point that they killed off Luke. Yeah. So yeah, I knew that one thing going in. The only other thing I knew, I keep hearing for the last 2 years about subverted expectations. And after watching the movie, I don't get it. What was subverted? I don't understand. But we'll get to that. So yeah, like I said, it's all new to me, so you've probably heard most of this before. I apologize for that, but hey, I don't know what other people are saying about this movie. Now, I'm going to start off with something positive. I am glad that this absolute piece of shite exists. Because after Good Morning Force, and like I said, I hated it. But everyone I knew, they either loved it, or they at least thought it was pretty good. And I said, what's wrong with you people? It's just a scene-for-scene remake of Star Wars. It sucks. But no, everybody liked it. But then this movie comes along, and it basically does the same thing, just even worse than Jar Jar Abrams does it. And people hate it. I don't get it. It's the same movie. But, yeah, whatever. At least this movie convinced people to come around to the dark side. It's not even really the dark side. Disney's the dark side. But at least this movie convinced people that Disney Star Wars is in fact fucking stupid. Now, well, as you can see, I have my bottle here. I had to pause the movie about 10 minutes in. Because already it was so bad, I knew I would not be able to make it through 2.5 hours of that drivel without getting completely rat-assed. I'm taking some notes. So, we're gonna make it through this. But damn that movie, and fuck Rian Johnson. And Jar Jar Abrams, and Kathleen Kennedy, and Disney. Fuck you too, Disney. Alright, so where should we begin? So why does this movie suck? Well, the plot, the writing is just fucking stupid. Right, oh, one other thing I'd heard about, when there was a backlash on this movie and I heard all this crap about, oh, it's all trolls and misogynists and sexists and racists and all this crap. I thought, oh, what, is the movie all SJW, all this kind of nonsense? And honestly, even if there was some of that in the movie, I didn't even notice because I couldn't get past the fact of how stupid the plot was. So, I don't know, maybe that shite was in there. I'd have to watch it again and actually pay attention. Well, beyond just the plot. So, let's see. Right away, as soon as the crawl comes up, I have the same question I had in the first one, during Good Morning Force, which is, why does the New Republic not have a military? They've had 30 years since they blew up the second Death Star. They started their own government. Why do they not have a military? It makes no sense. Why do they have to rely on this stupid resistance? That's just a few people and a couple ships. I don't get it. They know the remnants of the Empire are out there. They need to defend against them. Why don't they have a military? But whatever. It was the same shite in Good Morning Force. But the crawl comes up, and I see that, yeah, just like the first one was Star Wars. The second one, Sounds like it's just going to be Empire Strikes Back. No surprise. So you had the main plot, and then you had a couple subplots. They're all pointless. They do nothing. The main plot. Right, the First Order, they jump out of hyperspace, and they don't just start bombarding the planet right away. Those Star Destroyers are in range. They can bombard the planet. The only reason they didn't do that in Empire Strikes Back was because they came out of hyperspace too far away from the planet, giving the rebels warning, and they put up their shield generator. They activated it. Well, there was no mention of a shield on this planet, and the Dreadnought fired down, didn't have to worry about shields. Well, why couldn't the Star Destroyers just fire? Why'd they have to wait for the Dreadnought? And they don't plan, their plan is just destroy the rebels, imitation rebels, the resistance. The plan is just to destroy them. Why would they take the time to talk to this asshole in an X-Wing, Poe? Oh, I fucking hate Poe. Why would they spend time talking to this asshole instead of just firing at the planet? His entire goal is to distract them, to buy them time to get away? How the fuck is that able to work? How is the Resistance that stupid? Come out of hyperspace, fire, that's it. It's so dumb. The Resistance should have been dead in 10 seconds. And, yeah, so instead, he pretends to be on hold, he tells yo mama jokes. Oh, it's so bad. I guess it was supposed to be funny? Oh, terrible. So, apparently the Dreadnought doesn't have any shields. I don't know, it's this big huge ship that you're using with big cannons to blow shit up. Why doesn't it have shields? I don't know. Poe's able to take on the entire fleet by himself. I mean, I don't know why he needed the bombers. He could just killed everything on his own. He was clearly capable of it. Oh, now X-Wings have handbrakes? Right, he does this like handbrake turn to get behind the TIE fighters that are chasing him. I'm watching it and I'm thinking, I guess the X-Wing is driving on wheels on a surface and does this handbrake turn? It's so dumb. Oh, and that reminds me. This movie to me was the best film imitation of a Jar Jar Abrams movie I've ever seen. Alex Kurtzman does a great job imitating Jar Jar Abrams with STD, but that's a television show. On film, no one has done a better job imitating that hack than Rian Johnson. So much stuff in this movie was all predicated on, this would look so cool. And that's textbook Jar Jar Abrams. Like the handbrake turn. Oh yeah, this will look cool. No, it just looks stupid. How does the X-Wing have a handbrake? So, yeah, Poe can take out the entire fleet. He doesn't need any help. And then these bombers, right, that are stupid. Hey, but at least Disney remembered that A-Wings exist. They forgot about B-Wings, Y-Wings, and anything else. But hey, they remembered that there are A-Wings. I think we see one. So, yeah, you have these big stupid bombers. I don't know why Y-Wing bombers and B-Wing bombers aren't good enough. You have these big, bulky, lurching along things. Now, I don't understand what's going on with these. So they need to get over a target so they can literally drop their bombs. Does Rian Johnson know how gravity works? I don't understand. It's like they open up their bay doors and the bombs just drop by gravity in space. It makes no sense. Like, so one of two things. Either he was intending there's gravity, or the bombs are actually propelled out. They have some sort of they're actually propelled out of there. But then, if that's the case, then why do you need to fly over a target and launch the bombs? Why don't you just stay out here and turn your ship and launch your bombs? It's so dumb. I think he, I don't know, maybe he thinks that all these ships in space have to work by the same rules as World War II planes? I don't know. It's just so stupid. And again, it was all about, oh, these bombs will look so cool. No, it didn't look cool. I just looked at it and thought, what the fuck is going on? This is so dumb. Now, I mean, a lot of the stuff I'm going to complain about, it might be nitpicky. But hey, that's what happens when you watch Star Wars hundreds of times, and Empire and Return of the Jedi. I've only seen the prequels maybe 2 or 3 times each, but the originals 200 or 300 times each. I've seen Good Morning Force once in the theater. Haven't seen the other ones that came out. Anyway. Let's see. So, yeah. Alright, so now, see, so like, this is a nitpicky thing here. The Calamari Cruiser, now its shields are just a big bubble around the ship. Star Wars shields don't work like that. Star Trek shields work like that. They have a big bubble around the Enterprise. But that's not the way Star Wars ones work, so I don't know. It's dumb. I don't think Ruin knows anything about Star Wars. Like I said, that's a nitpicky one. It's not that big a deal, but that's all going on and leads to Flying Leia. Oh, there was another one I'd heard about. I had heard about Flying Leia. And even though knowing that it was coming, it still didn't disappoint in how stupid it was. So, the whole her surviving space. Look, I've read all those EU books. There was enough crap in there where, sure, the Jedi learned to do all sorts of things and stuff like that. Yeah, oh, fine, she can survive for a little while. I mean, they had enough tricks to control their breathing, control their heart rate, to where, yeah, they could survive for a short amount of time out in deep space. Very short. So, I'm okay with that part. But then she flies. She fucking flies. No, Jedi can't fly. They're not Superman. And then she flies back onto the ruined bridge, knocks on the little door out into a hallway, and they just open it up and she comes in. I mean, it was open to space. Why wasn't anyone blown out? But whatever. Again, Ruin Johnson, he doesn't know anything. So yeah, that whole plot. Alright, so then they're chasing them slowly. This is why the entire story is just so stupid, because this is the main plot of the movie. They're chasing them slowly. They can't get away because all of a sudden, the First Order can track them through hyperspace, which they couldn't do before. Now all of a sudden they can. And not only that, this is some new development. Oh, we can track through hyperspace. So not only that, even though this is something that is new, the Resistance knows that only one ship is tracking them? Like, how can they know that? This isn't something that's being used all the time. How the fuck do they know that it's only the lead ship? And I guess there's some sort of Space Geneva Convention where they decided if you're going to track your enemy, you can only use one ship. Can't have 2 track, you know. It is vital to you that you wipe out this resistance. So why have maybe 2 ships with their sensors on looking for shit? Nope, only 1. That's what the Space Geneva Convention says. What do you think they do that? The Kashyyyk Convention? I don't know, doesn't matter. So, So yeah, so they have the stupid plan that goes with that. So they're traveling along slowly, and the First Order fleet is conveniently just slightly slower than the Resistance. And so, well, they can't catch them, but, they can't burn up all their fuel going to hyperspace because they'll just be followed. Well, the First Order has a lot of ships. Why can't they just have a few jump ahead and, a few up here, over there, spread out around them, surround them? I mean, they have one calamari cruiser. The First Order, I assume that's still the same kind of Mon Cal from Return of the Jedi. I didn't pay that close attention. The First Order, I don't pay that much attention to their Star Destroyers, but they might be in Star Deuces, I don't know. Whatever. They have plenty of firepower that they can surround and just wipe them out. Why are they plodding along behind them? It's so dumb. Or if they just send out a bunch of fighters and bombers that are faster than the Resistance, they can wipe them out. It makes no sense. It's such a tiny fleet they're chasing. They have so many ships. If they just send out their complements of fighters, it'd be so easy to wipe them out. It's so dumb. How are the Resistance getting away? So I'm watching this, I'm just frustrated at how stupid it is. Let's see. And, yeah. So, to escape, their plan is, they see a planet over there that's within visual sight for them and for the First Order. And they planned on just sending transports to it, as if the First Order's not going to see? That made no sense. But whatever, I'll buy it. And yes, of course, that all led to the biggest fuck you moment Raymond Johnson had. No, second biggest, which was that stupid attack by Holdo. A stupid hyperspace attack. This is the single dumbest moment in Star Wars. Even dumber than Even dumber than anything Jar Jar ever did. And I mean Jar Jar Binks, not Jar Jar Abrams. If it were possible to do this attack, where you just send something into hyperspace right into the fleet, and then it blows up because of a collision in hyperspace and just wipes out all this shite, how is this not used all the time? How can this be the first time anyone's ever done this? Unless, again, Space Geneva Convention. It's so dumb. Like, if this was something possible, this would have been used for hundreds of battles by now. It would be a common maneuver. And they would have developed this technology to the point where you don't even need to use a capital ship. You just send some little, hyperspace bomb and shoot it out. It goes to hyperspace and blows up and wipes out the fleet. You don't need to waste any capital ships, you don't need to waste any admirals or whatever Holdo was. I don't remember her rank. But it's so dumb. So yeah, how has this never been used before, and how can you have any battles in the future? How are you going to prevent this from happening? And really, now, this is EU, right? This is expanded universe stuff. But, well, not even expanded universe. This is in video games. X-Wing, TIE Fighter. Well, no, I don't think they had them in X-Wing. They definitely had them in TIE Fighter. Interdictors. Interdictors are ships that are a little smaller than Star Destroyers. Well, they're like the same size as Victories, I think, but so smaller than Imperial Star Destroyers. And they put out a big interdiction field. You can't travel through hyperspace through that. They have a big bubble of just non-hyperspace area. Those should be a thing. Why doesn't the Resistance, why doesn't the First Order have them? See, that's what should be preventing them from going to hyperspace to get away, is some interdictors. They're running away, they're the interdictors, and the only way they're going to get away is if they can blow up the interdictors. That would be so much better. TIE Fighter is a better movie than The Last Unicorn. So is X-Wing. Maybe not X-Wing Alliance. Alright. So yeah, where are we? So yeah, so dumb. You can't hold out in the future. Why didn't they do that to blow up either of the Death Stars? Right? First Death Star. Why don't one of those X-Wings or Y-Wings just go to hyperspace, fly right toward the center of the Death Star and just... And if that's not good enough, second Death Star, well now you have some capital ships. You got some Moncals you could have sent out at that time. Maybe some Nebulon B frigates. So yeah, fucking stupid. Let's see. So yeah, after that big fuck you from Ruin Johnson, and again, just like the bombers, just like whatever else it was all about, this would look cool. And it was an okay visual. I don't think it was fantastic. Just, you had this little almost lightning going out through the fleet. Whatever. It looked fine. But that was all what it was all about. This would look cool. Good job, Jar Jar Abrams. So then, alright, so after that, they get down to Salt Hoth. Because it is Empire Strikes Back, you have to have the Hoth planet. You have Salt Hoth. And so you have some AT-ATs that now they look like gorillas. And, well, so they were still able to land a bunch of AT-ATs and, what was it called? Battery and ram cannon, yeah. They were still able to land all that stuff down there. So I assume they still had some ships. Oh right, no, they mentioned a shield generator. This one actually had a shield generator, this planet. So this time they actually had to go land to attack the Resistance. Let's see. But yeah, so they land down there with their guerrilla walkers and the stupid battering ram cannon, which, again, this one's nitpicky, but I always thought the Death Star was humongous because it took so much energy to power the big super laser in it. They had this big, huge thing. Seems reasonable. I mean, how are you going to get... Now, it was miniaturized Death Star tech, but still, how do you have just the super laser part, even if it's smaller, with nothing else to power it? I don't know, I figured it should have been a lot bigger, but whatever. Like I said, that one's nitpicky. And yeah, they get away because of Luke's nonsense, and then, right, they go through the caverns, find some rocks that are blocking the path, and they're only able to get out because Rey comes and, ooh, now she can move the rocks. But here's my question. Leia can fucking fly, and you're telling me she can't wave a few rocks away? She can fucking fly. So, whatever. They didn't need Rey. Leia should have done it. Alright, so yeah. That was all just so dumb. Alright, so you had, the main plot, which gets interrupted by Finn and Rose, right? Their plot, also stupid, pointless, accomplishes nothing. It's so dumb. So, yeah, like I said, how do they fucking know that it's only the lead ship, and they know exactly how all this tracking shit works? Like, oh, we can turn it off and they won't be able to tell for a few minutes. What? It's so dumb. How do they know all this shite? Yes, granted, I know Finn was a stormtrooper, but he was a stormtrooper. and they said he was a janitor, whatever, he wouldn't know how to run everything on the ship. Stormtroopers don't know that. Stormtroopers go boom boom. Well, pew pew. But whatever. So what I don't get about all this, right, the entire chase takes less than a day. Right, they said at some point they only have 18 hours of fuel. I think they said that. And they didn't use up 18 hours of fuel before Holdo's attack, because they also used a bunch of that fuel to fuel up the transports. So by the time Finn and Rose leave and go off on an adventure and then come back, they couldn't have been gone more than, say, 8 hours. And I think Ruin must think that hyperspace travel is instantaneous. Because look, they leave, they get in a ship, they take off, they go to hyperspace, right? They have to travel to this planet in a different star system. I don't know, maybe they said it was really close by. How convenient. But yeah, they have to travel to this other planet, land, go into this stupid casino thing, and then get into trouble. You know, look around for a while for some guy they're looking for, get into trouble, get arrested, break out of jail, set a bunch of stupid animals free, steal a ship, leave the planet, go into hyperspace again to go back. And this is all in the span of like 8 hours. So, I don't know, I guess Ruin thinks that hyperspace is like folding space, instantaneous travel, but this isn't Battlestar Galactica. It's not Robotech. It's Star Wars. Granted, hyperspace travel is not as well defined as warp travel in Star Trek, but it still takes time. It's not instantaneous. So, a little nitpicky, but it just, everything doesn't make sense. That's the problem. And let's see, so yeah. While the whole fleet's trying to get away from the Imperials, they go off on their little adventure, so I'm just thinking, alright, this is Han and Leia and Chewie going to Bespin. Alright, that's what they're doing here, because they are basically knocking off Empire Strikes Back. And so, since this is the Bespin plot, well, as soon as they meet Benicio, I don't remember his character's name, but as soon as they meet him, I'm just thinking, okay, so that's Lando. That means he's going to betray them. Because that's what Lando did. And, I mean, this is the same kind of stuff that happened in Good Morning Force, right? You could tell everything that was going to happen based on who the characters were supposed to be in comparison to who they were in Star Wars. Like, Han Solo was the Obi-Wan. So you knew he was going to die, right? He was going to get killed by the Darth Vader character. And I'm going to get into all that in another video. Basically saying Good Morning Force, just as bad as this one. Alright, anyway. They meet Benicio. And like I said, I know he's the Lando character, he's going to betray them. Lo and behold, he does. And, they accomplish nothing, right? Because they end up back with the fleet and get on the big stealth bomber, Star Destroyer thing, and try to deactivate the tracking, but they get captured because they're betrayed by Lando. Benicio Lando, we'll call him. Landicio? I don't know, one of those. And so, yeah, they accomplished absolutely nothing. It's a complete waste of time. They can somehow communicate through hyperspace. I did not like that. And, let's see. There was something else to say about them. Oh, so I mentioned earlier, why didn't the Dreadnought have shields? And, I mean, you could try to make an argument like, oh, well, he flew through the shields. Well, no, again, Star Wars shields don't work like that. And if you could just fly through the shields, then they wouldn't have needed Benicio Lando to slice, I think he said, the shields so they could slip in through the shields and get to the ship. No, they wouldn't have had to do that. So, whatever. Shields don't make any sense in this, or just the Dreadnought didn't have any, which is fucking stupid. Alright, so yeah, that's Finn and Rose. And then we have the even worse other plot. Luke, Rey, and Kylo, and Snoke. So, at first, I'm thinking, why is Luke such an asshole? But two things. Two things. This should not have been surprising at all, because one, well, Jar Jar Abrams turned Han Solo into an asshole in Good Morning Force, so why wouldn't Rian Johnson do the same thing and turn Luke into an asshole in this one? It's just going along with what Disney Star Wars was doing. So yeah, and two, well, this is Empire Strikes Back. What happened then, when Luke gets to Dagobah? Yoda's an asshole. Now that's just for a few minutes while he's testing him. Alright, trying to feel Luke out before he says, yeah, I'm Yoda. So, what does Luke do? Rey comes, he acts like an asshole. He's just being Yoda. So, of course he's an asshole. The only difference is, eventually Yoda wasn't an asshole, whereas Luke, now he's an asshole the whole movie. And, so, this one, what I kind of thought was, well, he didn't do a very good job copying Empire with this bit. So, I think, because I think Rian Johnson, didn't he say at some point he doesn't even like Empire Strikes Back? So I think he's either never watched the whole movie. No, I think what he's done, he doesn't really like the movie, so if he watches it, I bet what he does, when Luke gets to Dagobah, he's only seen the first few minutes and then thought, this is boring, and then just fast-forwarded through the rest of all that. Just skipped all the Luke and Yoda stuff, so he only knows Yoda's an asshole. That's my guess. Oh, or he's never actually seen it, or any of the other Star Wars movies. And all he knows about Star Wars is he had a 5-year-old, maybe an 8-year-old, explain Star Wars to him, describe everything that happens in all the movies. I think that's where he has an idea of what actually happens in Star Wars. Because this shite is written with a child's understanding of Star Wars. Or maybe Rian Johnson is just an adolescent, I don't know. His face has the baby fat of one. Alright, so, Luke. So Luke he lives with a bunch of podlings. I guess this is Dark Crystal. And Ghost Yoda can control the weather. Are you fucking kidding me? He's a Force ghost. If he could do that, then why did they need to go to the forced moon of Endor and take out the shield generator with a little team so that then they could attack the Death Star? Why didn't Yoda just force hyperspace travel over there and bring down some lightning on that little bunker, wipe everything out, shields down, they can attack? Oh, and then Akbar could have told one of the ships to say, hey, jump to hyperspace, aim yourself right at the Death Star, take it out. Right, they could have just Return of the Jedi. The entire last, 2/3 of the movie could have been over in 5 minutes. Fucking Force ghost controlling the weather, so stupid. So we find out that the whole reason Kylo's bad is because Luke had a bad dream? What? Luke decided to kill his nephew because he had a dream that Kylo could turn out bad? Does he not remember who his fucking father was? I mean, in the end he was trying to save his father, get him to turn to the light side, all that, and he accomplished it. Yet he's willing to kill his nephew because there's a slight chance he might turn bad? That is not Luke Skywalker. Because as I said, well, Ruin Johnson has a child's understanding of Star Wars. Let's see. Alright, so Luke's an asshole, and then Rey leaves. So she gets no training at all. And she gets to, she goes back and gets captured. And then Kylo takes her to the throne room scene. So now I'm saying, alright, we're not doing just Empire Strikes Back, we're also doing Return of the Jedi. So as soon as they get to the throne room, now I know what's going to happen. Because they're doing Return of the Jedi, so obviously, Luke's going to be in trouble and need some help. That would be Rey. So Darth Vader, Kylo, is going to turn on his master, the Emperor, Snoke, and kill him. Because that's what happened in Return of the Jedi. So what happens? Well, Rey's in trouble. Kylo decides to turn on his master, Snoke, and kills him. Yeah, it's Return of the Jedi. We've seen that before. The difference was, that scene was emotional, and as soon as the Emperor was tossed down the, whatever shaft, he got tossed on his shaft. As soon as that happened, now it's, okay, Darth Vader's dying, and Luke's sad, and okay, it was emotional. No, this is, Snow gets cut in half, and they fight these stupid guys in their red armor, and are they supposed to be Force users? Because if not, they should have had their asses kicked in 2 seconds by Rey and Kylo. I don't know. I don't care. They were dumb. Oh, so before that, Snoke was having them talk to each other through the Force? Why? I don't get it. Because, he says something to Rey about finding Luke. So, like, he was trying to have them communicate with each other to figure out where Luke was. Why bother? Luke just wants to live out his life and die. He's a fucking hermit. He doesn't give a fuck about your war. So, and no one knows where he is. They don't even know if he's alive. Other than maybe Leia. She could sense it if he died. Probably. So, why does it matter? They say something like, oh, as long as he's alive, there's hope in the galaxy, or some shite like that. No one would even know if he was dead. He's just a hermit. No one knows where he is. And they're so dumb that they think that knowing which planet he's on, or the coordinates of the planet, aren't enough. They need a map to get there. Don't get me started on Good Morning Force. So I don't understand their obsession with Luke. If Luke were actually active, and he were a leader type, if he were training Jedi, if he were doing anything that would help out the New Republic, the Resistance, then okay, I could understand you're wanting to take him out. But there's no reason. It's unnecessary. And if his other purpose is to try to turn Rey, well, okay. But he already knows his subordinate Kylo is not completely trustworthy. So by having the two connect, to the point where they can even see each other, but whatever, having the two connect and talk to each other, all you're doing is exposing him to her, giving him the chance of maybe turning on you. Oh, and look, he did. So Snake's just another character who is completely brain dead, because everyone is stupid. The entire First Order, they're a bunch of nincompoops. But the Resistance isn't any better. Poe's a fucking moron. Holdo's stupid. Leia's clueless too. Alright, so yeah. Snow gets killed, whatever. As soon as it was a throne room scene, you know it's coming. And then, Kylo goes down to the Salt Hoth, because Luke's standing out there all alone. And, when he had every ship fire on Luke, and he's just there, everything's rubble. And he's just like, yeah, I'm cool. Did he really think there was nothing going on? And he gets on there. Luke lights up his lightsaber, and Kylo's too stupid to realize that's the same lightsaber that just got destroyed 15 minutes ago. And now Luke's holding it? Hello? And how can he not sense that there isn't a real person there? Oh, because Kylo's in the First Order, and they're all idiots. The Empire was not full of idiots. It was full of people scared to death of Darth Vader, because if they made a mistake, he might just kill them. Poor Captain Nita. But they weren't idiots. Like, General Vias, he never showed any sign of being a moron. And he was in Last Crusade. Alright, so, yeah, Kylo's an idiot. Yeah, I think that's kind of it. So yeah, this movie sucks. Kind of wish I had never watched it. And yeah, like I said, I put it off for 2 years. I thought it was pretty good. So just some overall things. The music. I don't remember the music. I just watched this movie an hour ago. I don't remember it, the music. The only music I remember hearing were all the familiar themes from the original trilogy, but anytime there was any kind of new music playing, I didn't even notice it. And I don't know if that's just John Williams getting old, or, yeah. Last Unicorn's Star Wars music sucked. I don't know. But, I mean, John Williams soundtracks are always, the score that he does for movies, always great, and they always stand out. Yeah, not this. I feel like it was the same way in Good Morning Force. I don't really remember any music other than the already very familiar stuff. So back to subverted expectations. Alright, that's all I've heard for 2 years. Well, and racist, misogynist, everybody who has criticized this movie, sure. But I've heard so much about subverted expectations, like Ruben Johnson was proud of that. And like I said, I just don't get it. How is this movie surprising in any way? Because, as I said, well, alright. The only thing I found surprising at all was how big an asshole they made Luke. But, yeah, that's pretty much it. But like I said, it wasn't surprising at all that at the very start he was an asshole, because he was just being Yoda. And this movie rips off Empire Strikes Back. Not quite as much as Good Morning Force rips off Star Wars, but still quite a bit. So that's not surprising. The fact that they killed him like a bitch? Nope, not surprising. I mean, they did the same thing to Han in Good Morning Force, so why would it be surprising if they make Luke go out like a bitch? I mean, if Carrie Fisher hadn't died, I would not be surprised at all if she went out like a bitch in the next one. So they'll probably do it to Chewie. Orlando, maybe both. Let's see. So, yeah, that's really not surprising at all. And the fact that he just died, well, he's the Yoda character. Yoda died. Why wouldn't Luke? Just like in Good Morning Force, Han Solo was the Obi-Wan character, so he died just like Obi-Wan. So yeah, that's not surprising at all. Let's see. Snoke? Well, I didn't see why Snoke was anything special in the first one. Whatever, he's just some stupid CGI alien guy. CGI characters suck. They just look dumb. So they're never intimidating or anything, they're just dumb. He at least didn't look as bad as cartoon Princess Leia. Or cartoon Tarkin. That's all I know of Rogue One. I've seen little clips of the cartoon characters. They look like something out of Roger Rabbit. Let's see. So yeah, he doesn't look that bad, but still Snoke was stupid. Who cares if he's dead? And as I said, as soon as it's a throne room scene, with Kylo and Rey and him, you know he's going to die. That's what these movies do. They rip off the original trilogy, so anytime a scene starts, if you know what scene is being imitated, you know how it's going to end. Let's see. Now, sure, going into the movie, you don't know they're going to do that scene. However, think about the original trilogy. When did the Emperor show up? Showed up in Empire Strikes Back. All he was in that movie, he was just a hologram. He was in the movie a short amount of time. And it was a different actor. He shows up in the second time in Return of the Jedi, and he gets killed. Snoke shows up in one movie, and I'm trying to remember, because I saw the movie once 4 years ago. I think he was only a hologram, right? In Good Morning Force? Right, isn't that all he did? He communicated to Kylo through some hologram? I don't know, maybe that was more than that. But I feel like that was the case, and then this time he actually shows up in person, the second movie he's in, and gets killed. Same as the Emperor. Shows up once as a hologram, and then in the next movie he gets killed. I don't know. So I don't get the whole subverted expectations thing. What expectations were being subverted? I don't know. Did all of you watch trailers and that built your expectations? Is that the problem? The fact that I never saw a trailer for the movie? I just don't get it. Because based on what Jar Jar did to ruin Star Wars in Good Morning Force, and what happened in Empire Strikes Back and A Little Return of the Jedi, as I said, I found nothing in this movie surprising. I expected more of the same from Good Morning Force, and that's exactly what I got. Well, this movie is just fucking depressing. It was slightly worse than Good Morning Force. To me, the only difference between the two is that this one's a little more dumb. They both suck. They both do the same shite to ruin Star Wars. This one's a little more dumb than that one. No, you know what, I take that back. Although it's hard to remember Good Morning Force. But, just thinking of Jar Jar Abrams' movies, I bet that one's just as dumb as Last Unicorn, if not more. Except the problem with Jar Jar movies is they're so fast-paced that you really have to pay attention and think back while action's going on to what happened 5 minutes ago to understand that this doesn't make any sense. So, I don't know. They're both fucking stupid. Episode 9, Luke's Erection. I have no hope that that's going to be any good. No hope, neither new nor old. It's gonna fucking suck. Jar Jar fucking Abrams. So, I don't want to talk about this shit anymore. I'm gonna polish off maybe the rest of that. If I drink enough, maybe I can pass out and forget I ever saw this movie. That would be a great gift. So, subverted to expectations? I don't know what you're talking about, Ruin Johnson. You're just a fucking hack. Alright, enough of this shite. Ruin Johnson, fuck you. Jar Jar Abrams, fuck you too. Kathleen Kennedy, go fuck yourself. Disney, big ol' fuck you. But, to anyone out there still listening, I've probably ranted on so long. To anyone still listening, don't be some complete hack wanker like Ruin Johnson. No, instead, go out there and just be excellent to each other. Farewell.